If a home doesn't make sense, nothing does. Henrietta Ripperger. This quote is the inspiration for today's episode, where I'll share a simple method you can use to help you create a new perspective on the spaces in your home. Whether you're organizing or decorating, make this the first step in your next home project. This is Home with Intention, and I'm Jody Pear. Welcome to the Home with Intention podcast. I'm Jody Pear, your host. I support the do-it-yourself homeowners by delivering interior design services with empathy, intention, and simplicity at jodypeardesigns.com and by curating a collection of meaningful home products available at essentialpairings.com. My purpose with this show is to inspire you to create a home that is a reflection of you and what you value most in life. This podcast will support you in breaking through the limiting thoughts and fears that have been holding you back from creating a home that is uniquely you. There are no decorating rules or trends to follow here. Only inspiration, ideas, and encouragement to express your kind of beautiful, a home that captures the essence of your soul. It's time to create your home with intention. Hi everyone, I'm Jody Pear. We talk a lot about home organization on this show, and typically I will save those conversations for when Cathy is here because she is a professional organizer. But the inspiration for today's show is creating a personal plan, and that just reminded me of a method that I wanted to share with you that you can use for the next home project that is on your agenda. And so as part of the planning process, when you're wanting to make a change to any space, start with using your camera and take pictures before you change anything. So let's use the bedroom as an example. And I want you to take a separate picture of each wall in that room. So stand in a location so that you are capturing the wall in your picture frame in your screen. I want you to capture the entire wall opposite you from ceiling to floor and corner to corner. And do this for each wall of that room, whatever room it is you're working on. And the reason for doing this is when you see a picture of your space, it's offering you a fresh perspective. And looking at a photo as opposed to the room itself may evoke a stronger reaction in you and a more critical eye that is going to help motivate you to make the changes that are necessary for that space. So I want you to look one at a time at those pictures that you have printed out, and using colored markers or pencils, whatever it is you want to. I want you to, on each image, I want you to highlight the things that you love, cross out the things that you don't like, or make changes however it is that you want to mark up that photo and make notes to yourself. And I want you to use this as a plan to transform your room into a space that you really love to be in. And I want you to let that plan evolve over time. There's no rush. There's no need for impulse decisions or purchases when you're working on projects like this. Let things evolve naturally and sit with your feelings on this and notice how you feel about your space. What are your longings for how you really want the space to look, to feel, to function? Make sure that it really feels good to you and represents who you are and what is important to you. And again, let this just unfold naturally. Don't rush the process. So whether you're organizing or you're decorating, this exercise will help you to literally look at your spaces through a new lens. So stay tuned for a complete reading from Simple Abundance. And thank you for being here. I'll see you next time. Simple Abundance, a Daybook of Comfort and Joy by Sarah Bonbronick. May 10th, A Place for Everything, Preserving Your Sanity with a Personal Plan. If a home doesn't make sense, nothing does. Henrietta Ripperger. We long to make sense of the work we do in our home, to master the sacred art and craft of doing it, and to create a microcosm of serenity, security, and sanity for ourselves and those we love. But how and where do we begin, especially if we were never taught to put our things away so that we might find them on another day? And if we did not learn the rudimentary lessons ourselves, how can we possibly teach our children the life-sustaining skills they need, from cooperation to cooking? Getting our houses in order and endowing our children with a respect for and appreciation of order is one of the most precious gifts we can give them and ourselves. After searching a century's worth of housekeeping advice found in domestic manuals, from Mrs. Isabella Beeton's classic book of household management published in 1861, to Shirley Conran's Superwoman for Every Woman Who Hates Housework, one thing is clear: sanity is preserved with planning. Always remember that plan comes before work in the dictionary, and with good reason. But before planning, you're going to have to think your way through housework, just as you'd approach an overwhelming project at work. Now, none of us would dream of plunging in without thinking when working at a job for which we're paid a salary. Why should we do any less for a job that compensates us with room, board, love, and contentment? By thinking first instead of just reacting to the chores, interruptions, and demands that are made on us, we can reclaim control over our daily lives. We need to learn to run our homes instead of letting the housework run roughshod over us. First, figure out what your standard of ideal housekeeping is. Remember, it doesn't have to be the same as your mother's or the Dodsons. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine that you are walking through your front door. In your ideal version, what does the room look like? Your personal standard of ideal home caring is the minimum you can live with and still feel content. For example, I can personally live with dust, though I do draw the line when I can write my name in the bedroom bureau, but clutter drives me crazy. It's more important for me to have the common rooms of our home and my bedroom tidy than to have them pass a white glove test. So given the demands on my time, I will be content if the house can, and on a consistent basis, remain reasonably straight instead of being ready for a magazine pictorial. Determine your livability quotient. It's the first step towards devising a personal plan that will work for you. Next, you need to figure out what needs to be done, who can do it, and when. The simplest way is to break your housekeeping demands into categories: daily duties, weekly chores, monthly jobs, and seasonal tasks. See on paper how much you really do. You will be astounded. Now, who lives with you and can share the load? Once you've identified the jobs for your home and the workers available, write it down. What you're creating is a simple abundance strategy that brings order and harmony to your home while providing you with enough time and space to savor the journey. We have only recently begun focusing our energies and imagination on preserving Mother Earth. The same needs exist for preserving the lives of mortal mothers, but why wait until we are on the brink of emotional extinction to begin this conservation effort? To jumpstart the bringing of order into your home, here are 4 old-fashioned rules that can change the quality of your daily life beginning today. Repeat this recipe for contentment out loud every morning and evening for 21 days. Let it become your personal mantra to maintain serenity. Write these instructions on index cards and post one in every room of your home. Teach these words of wisdom to your children. Whisper them in your partner's ear. 1. If you take it out, put it back. 2. If you open it, close it. 3. If you throw it down, pick it up. 4. If you take it off, hang it up. Thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed this episode, it would mean the world to me if you could leave a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you listen on, because it helps me to grow this podcast and to reach more people. Because the more people who choose their surroundings with intention, the more people can follow their heart back home to themselves, which is the mission for this podcast. Once a month, I will randomly select a reviewer and offer them a free download of my book, The Art of Decorating with Intention, a guidebook to creating an oasis for your soul. For more frequent insights and inspiration, you can follow me on Instagram at Jody Pear Designs. I have been fortunate enough to find the most helpful resources and amazing people whose work has touched me and inspired me to show up here today. TheHouseCoachingInstitute.com. Cathy Heller's inspiring podcast, Don't Keep Your Day Job. Alison Barker's work and her new podcast, Your Soulful Brand. The Sheri Nancy Show, a podcast for women in their 50s that is hilarious and deeply inspiring. And Sandy Monroe. She is a joyful life lived on Instagram, and her brilliant teachings and guidance are exactly what I need. I'm so grateful to have found each one of you along the path towards fulfilling my dreams. I'll see you in the next episode of Home with Intention.